Today is the day that I officially get divorced after almost a year of.
Okay. About to share something.
But today is the day that I officially get divorced after almost a year of fighting it with my ex. And I could just use all the prayers and support, even if you don't know me, and if you're the praying kind, just say a little prayer that this is quick and easy because I'm tired of fighting. I just want it to be done with for me and the kids' sake. So we can all move on. Fortunately, my ex is not the easy kind and he wants to make it dirty, and I'm just not mentally ready for it, I guess. It's like when you leave a relationship and when you have children, unfortunately, the abuse and the control doesn't stop. They just try to do it through your children. So that is what the main fight is over. No fight by me. I'm the most giving and easiest person during this situation. But anyways, that was a whole spell. But yeah, wish me luck.
Stop it. Get some help.
When women are going through a divorce, they always present themselves as victims. My ex-husband is ruining everything. He's an abuser. I just want what's best for my kids. And of course, what's best for the kids always turns out to be exactly what benefits her the most. They never understand that in a divorce there are two sides, the one asking for the divorce, usually the woman, who's going after the money, and the one getting served, who's the one that truly loses everything. But as always, she's the woman, so she has to be the victim. She says she's not fighting for anything, but we know she's got a lawyer working to protect her interests. She claims she doesn't want anything, but she takes the kids, will ask for child support, and will try to keep any advantages she can. There are no saints here, just someone pretending to be a victim.
Okay. About to share something. Yeah. So I was married for 21 years. I was in Christianity that entire time. It nearly wrecked me. I was miserable for more than half of that marriage and I wanted to leave. But the Bible, religion, Christianity told me that I couldn't leave. That if I were to leave, it would take my husband cheating on me or one of us passing away. And so there were times where I actually thought about ending my life so that I could end my marriage. I'm talking about this because it's a real thing. It's real. There are so many women who are struggling in this space that are terrified to leave. And it's doctrine and dogma and false beliefs that are keeping them stuck in a very painful place, possibly an abusive place. So just putting it out there that I don't want anybody else to have to experience what I experienced. And I stayed for 21 years. Far too long. There's so much more to this story that I may share. However, I'll leave you with this. The four of us, our family, our former family, every single one of us are better for the fact that a divorce transpired, are better for the fact that I left.
If everyone's better off after you left, then the problem was you. That's how many long marriages end. Women who spend years in a family role and, when they fail to achieve anything personal for themselves, end up feeling miserable and blaming their husbands, especially if he's successful. Most of those complaints come from hidden envy. They don't make an effort to build anything of their own and reject the role of motherhood and managing the home. That's where all the talk about mental load and that empty narrative comes from. It's just the frustration of a woman upset because she's being held responsible for the household she herself chose to run. If that man is happy, and the kids are too, maybe taking you out of their lives was the best thing for them.
Hey everybody, my name's Cam. I'm going through a high conflict divorce right now, and I'm not going to talk about specific details about my situation, but moving forward, I'm going to share as much as I can with other men going through this situation. I've never been through the divorce process before, so it's been a real eye opener for me. Luckily, there's a lot of people in my life that have been willing to step up and help me navigate this. So, first piece of advice is talk to people. I've been talking about the situation with my soon to be ex spouse for the last 11 months with people in my life, my family, a couple close friends. That has bled into other people in my life over the last 4 to 5 months. So, really start activating your network. That's my first bit of advice. So, I have a whole truck bed full of things that people have given me over the past few weeks from back in my hometown, just trying to help me get started. I got a new place that I'll be moving into in the next week. So, having that network of people has been just incredibly important to me. So, um, I also shared a business with my um, ex, and that has been a whole nother, part of the situation that has made it extremely difficult. So when you have a good, strong network, you can reach out to those people and you can, seek other employment. Hey, do you know anybody that's hiring? In my situation, I just need a stable job outside of the business. So it was really good to have that network of people to tap. They've been super helpful. Do you need help moving? What do you need? Send us a list of things. So talking about your divorce or potential divorce is might seem taboo or might feel really uncomfortable because it does feel like failure. And for me, I have spent a lot of time the last few years really trying to, work on my marriage, save my marriage, grow my business, perform better as a man, with CrossFit and working out and running and doing some, what I would call, high level activities. And admitting that you're going through the divorce process is a hard thing to do. And it's a hard thing to talk about with other people because you've, created this version of yourself to the world. People might think everything's okay. Everything looks good from the outside when in fact it's just complete chaos and turmoil.
This is the side almost no one talks about. When a man gets divorced, his world falls apart. He doesn't just lose his wife, he loses time with his kids, stops seeing them like he used to. On top of that, he has to leave his home, the place where he built memories, where he left a part of his life. If he had a shared business, like this man did, he also loses his livelihood. He has to start from scratch, find a new place to live, adjust to an empty space, and many times, sleep on a mattress on the floor. For some, the reality is even harsher. They end up living with their parents or in a rundown motel. That's why I always say it. Marriage is the worst deal for a man. One wrong move, and you can lose everything: your home, your business, your family, and your peace of mind.
So talk to your people, build your tribe, find your peace in the chaos, and those people will help you do that. So just don't be afraid. Talk about it. Seek help. Another big thing that I would always encourage people to do is, if you're working through your marriage, a lot of the work is actually on yourself. You need to be bringing your best version of yourself to the table. And I started counseling almost weekly with a therapist in January, and that has been life changing for me. I think my mood, my personality, there's been a lot of shifts in my mindset by having those, weekly discussions with her, taking a lot of notes, and I've been able to help some other people in that process as well by educating myself. So, therapy is another really good thing. If your partner doesn't want to go, doesn't want to participate, I still think individual sessions really ultimately help you at the end of the day. You have to live within your own mind, your own life on the daily. And you go through some of those struggles alone. And going to therapy really helps you kind of dissect those internal conversations you're having or internal thoughts, brings you some peace of mind, brings you some clarity, brings you some direction. And if you have a really good therapist, that will help immensely. So I went through two different therapists before I landed on the one that I currently see. And she has just been a tremendous resource for me. So talk to others, go to therapy if you feel like you need to. Again, not taboo to go to a therapist. I think there's a stigma out there that, as a man, you should be able to persevere through things and overcome. And yes, I think that is important to carry that mentality because this stuff does get really hard and really difficult. But talking to somebody about it, figuring yourself out will help a lot. So more to come as I navigate this process. I'm fairly early in the structured part of the divorce process.
It's funny because it's true.
Therapy is important, and having a support system is even more so. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, but men often forget one key thing: never abandon your friends. In tough times, those moments when life hits you out of nowhere, your circle of male friends is your safety net. They're not just buddies. They're the ones who help you keep your head up, who you can talk to, unwind with, or simply share the weight you're carrying. Men who face crises alone break down faster. The ones who have brothers in arms, they survive. So invest in your friendships and keep your tribe strong. Because when everything falls apart, they're your shelter.
But like I said, it's been a year for me really going through the phases of, the person initiating that they wanted a divorce. And then, all the conversations and things that happen after that, and the trying to save the marriage and trying to do all the things to keep the ball rolling forward. And like I said, I'd like to just share more of my story and also give you kind of real-time feedback as to things I'm experiencing, especially when it comes to like working with an attorney, how you should be preparing for these things, what questions you should be asking, how you should be engaging with your spouse. All really important things that I had really no clue as to what I was doing. And I still don't know a lot of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to, operate the best I can in a not so good situation. I also have kids, so that's a big part of it for me. I've been a very active father throughout my kids' lives. I have friends, family, photos, everything to support that. I love spending time with my children. They love spending time with me. So, that really becomes the forefront issue, I think, for most fathers is you want to spend time with your kids. If you're a good dad, you're going to want your kids. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if the court system really is set up to really cater or, help fathers out. So I think a lot of times that there are bad fathers out there, and there are fathers that just want to disengage and don't want to fight for their kids or fight for their family because they feel like they've been raked over the coals. And, rightfully so. It's okay to feel those things. But I think if you're a good dad, custody just becomes front of mind. So at the end of the day, I think most of us just want to raise our kids. We want to be a positive influence in their lives. And we just want to support them. When you're a good dad, really, your life is about supporting and creating a good environment for your family. So, and just because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean that you can't still do that, or you should give up the need or desire to want to do that. So again, I'll have some more updates as my story unfolds. I'm going to try to do every few days. Just teach you guys about the process. Not really, again, I'm not trying to shine a light on my situation, but I'm just trying to share what I'm learning, empower other men to, overcome and conquer, get through this. It's going to be a phase of life. It's going to be bumpy, sticky, messy, but you can do it, especially with a good support group and good people around you. And defend your character to the end. That's, that's one thing that I'm carrying with me through this is that people's perception of your character are going to change, but you know who you are at the end of the day. Defend that character to the nth degree. And, just show people the man that you are. Be there for your kids as much as you can. And hopefully good things will come of that.
This is the hardest part, having to become the weekend dad. And that's if you're lucky enough to get a decent arrangement, because some men are only allowed to see their kids once a month or under supervision, all because the mother makes their life miserable. The system isn't designed to help men. Even when a father fights for 50-50 custody, the scales almost always tip in the woman's favor. Being a man is tough. Life, your government, and the law are almost always against you. I hope this man can get back on his feet. He's got the most important thing, the right mindset. His mind is ready, he's got his tribe, and he's got something no one can take from him: control over his own decisions. In moments like this, that's what matters most. As a man thinks, so is his life. This man will rise again, brothers.
Just because I can do it all on my own, it doesn't mean I want to. It doesn't mean that I can do it. I know I can. I believe. Can I open my own door? Yeah, I sure can. I don't want to open it. My hands burn when I touch door handles. I can live alone. I love it. But when I hear a noise, I want to look over to someone and say, hey, did you hear that? Should we check it out? Maybe you should check it out. I don't pay me. I don't want to have to go check it out. I can take out my own trash. I can load my... I don't want to do it anymore. Thank you for listening. That's all.
Look, men don't ask for much. We want simple things: to come home and have a meal ready, not have to cook after a long day. We want a clean home, without everything falling on our shoulders. And yes, we also want someone who welcomes us with good energy, not constant complaints. But here's the important part: it's not just about asking. If you expect a man to give everything while you give nothing, that's not love, that's selfishness. Relationships work when there's give and take, when both people contribute. And believe me, a man values peace and support more than anything else.
I'm quite literally rolling around in horse trying to get this bottom thing off my car. I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna cry. I'm trying to get this off, and I need a screwdriver to take it off. And I just wish someone would pull over and help me, because I don't know what to do. Oh, someone just pulled over. No way. Thank you so much.
Question for men. If I asked you out on a date wearing this, what would you say?
There are two types of single people. One, those who desperately want a relationship. And two, those who desperately want to remain single for as long as possible. I am both.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's funny, a lot of women say, I don't need a man. But when problems come up and they don't know what to do, who do they turn to? Exactly, the man who solves everything for them. And let's talk about clothing. The way they dress with you isn't the same as how they dress with their friends. With you, they go out more formal, more low-key. But with their friends, they dress provocatively. Coincidence? Not at all. With you, they already feel secure, but when they're out with their friends, they're looking for attention and checking out what else is out there.
Can you handle a redhead? I'm going to give you a checklist here, and if you can complete any of these, please let me know in the comments, because I will be sending you a DM for a marriage proposal. Number 1 is, are you willing to commit to the redhead cause? And what I mean by this is, of course, redheads are going extinct. So we need you in a couple with a redhead to really make sure that you're reproducing redheads. Number 2, are you adventurous? We want to typically walk on the wild side as redheads. So if you can't handle that, leave. And number 3, arguably the most important one of them all, is, are you good in high-pressured situations? And I don't say this lightly. I do not say this lightly. We are highly tempered, and we definitely need someone to calm us down and reassure us. So if you're not able to do that and be that for me, then unfortunately, mate, the door's that way. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these traits, because I'm serious.
Tonight I'm going on my first date of 2024, and these are my non-negotiables for dating this year. So I will not be accepting any kind of low effort date.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Someone wants a redhead because that's his preference. The good thing is he didn't also say he's looking for the infamous 666 of the apocalypse. A man who's 6 feet tall, makes 6 figures, and has a six-pack. The 666 from hell. Every day this gets worse. It's not that men don't want to put in the effort. It's that it's not worth it when the scale is so unbalanced. Too many demands, very little real value. Always the same non-negotiable conditions, but zero willingness to contribute. And with those unrealistic expectations, many still wonder why they end up hitting the wall. And we all know the wall doesn't forgive.
The women we spoke with feel they did nothing wrong. They say the truth and their opinions are protected against defamation.
It's very bizarre. The accusations are baseless. I feel not just for myself, but for my co-defendants and for the other women that he's gone after.
Olivia Berger and Vanessa Valdez are just two of multiple women being sued for defamation, libel, and other allegations by Stuart Lucas Murray.
He's basically suing us for $2.6 million in damages.
It all started with this post on the Facebook group, Are We Dating the Same Guy? When Olivia and Vanessa saw the post and all the comments, they added their own experiences.
He seemed, in my opinion, pretty smug and very arrogant. The entire date, he was putting me down for various things, my job included.
Vanessa never went on a date with Murray because she says she didn't like the messages he sent her, at one point even calling her a moron.
Everything I said was just my experience with him and my opinions on how I think, he should not be on dating sites.
I know this lawsuit probably won't go anywhere, but it's good that it's being filed against several women so they stop defaming men, many of whom haven't even gone out with them. Who gives them the right to speak badly about men who have nothing to do with their lives? On top of that, they act like they hold the absolute truth. A lot of men have had bad experiences with women because the women themselves are the problem on the date. But what does the man do? He moves on, forgets, and leaves that crazy one behind. Not like them, who create groups to defame and spread false rumors about someone they don't even know. This woman only shared text messages, and somehow that gives her the right to decide who can or can't be on a dating app. And what about all the men who rejected them for valid reasons? Don't they have the same right? I hope this man wins the lawsuit.
Hey, oh my god, the fit is fitting. Pop off gang. You're totally giving golden retriever boyfriend energy, which is amazing because I want to be giving black cat energy. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I read all the reviews on this restaurant on TikTok, and apparently the tuna tartare app is absolutely to die for, and it is life-changing. But I'm gonna get a chicken Caesar salad. Like movie, when we're back in Poughkeepsie, I feel it. I'm so obsessed with watching her TikTok journey. I'm so obsessed with her. Yeah, anyway, what are you gonna get to drink? I'm feeling like an espresso martini moment, but everything in here is giving dirty martini aesthetic. Olive Girl summer, and also I was trying to go for like a classy old money core vibe. Yeah, so I feel like a dirty martini will match my aesthetic a little bit more. Yeah, what are your hobbies? Oh, sorry, I'm just on my phone because I posted a GRWM and OOTD for the date ahead of time, and I just want to see how it was doing. Yeah, but golf? Yeah, that's so slay. Yeah, what are my hobbies? How dare you ask me? Girl hobbies, of course. Yeah, I really like hot girl walking. I really like girl dinner. I really like getting my hair done and online shopping. That's girl therapy. Yeah, I think I might do a Scandinavian hairline or maybe an old money blonde. Ooh, or maybe cowboy copper. What do you think? No, it's not natural blonde. Okay, there aren't many adult blondes out there. Okay, what do you do for work? Finance. You're a finance bro. Yeah, slay. Red flag. Oh, you heard that? Yeah, that's so great. Slay.
Some men cannot handle the attention of being with a pretty girl. Men tend to fumble you more often than not, probably because you are the full package. Just hear me out.
How's your head?
I haven't had any complaints yet.
Excuse me?
Oh, I think I'll live.
Oh, hell no!
If this is the kind of women men are running into on dates these days, poor guys. Empty, superficial, and more worried about their TikTok aesthetic than actually connecting with someone. It's like they live in a parallel world. They don't know how to hold a real conversation. They ask questions like it's a job interview, and everything revolves around money. What do you do? How much do you make? Just to decide if you're the guy who's going to pay their bills. That's why, brothers, don't waste your time on women like that. Too much drama, zero real value. Choose peace, not problems.
Women.
You're not the spare part, okay? You are the main piece. You're the main piece. You're the main character. Somebody thinks you're too much, go find less.
But it's always a man commenting these things as if I have that door closed, and I don't. That's not my choice. Reality of the situation is he could show up tomorrow and say, I want to be a dad, and guess what I would do? As long as my kid wants to see him, he gets to be a dad, because it's what's best for my kid. We're not bitter. We're grown freaking women. Seems like somebody else needs to grow up a little bit, though.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Most single mothers hate the father of their children when he decides to leave them, because in this country it seems like only women are allowed to pursue their own happiness. Men aren't allowed to walk away from a bad situation. And that phrase, the father can come whenever he wants, sounds nice in speeches. But the reality is different. When the woman holds resentment toward her ex, she's the one who decides everything. Then they say it's for the good of the daughter. But in many cases, it just means they use the girl as a justification to exclude the father from her life. And as always, we only hear one side of the story.
Guys keep telling me that I would look better with dark hair, but then I go dark hair, and everyone says you look better when you're blonde, and then I go blonde, and then they tell me to go back to black. It's getting exhausting at this point. I just don't know what I look the best in.
Okay, real life, divorced, single mom fear. So whenever I was divorcing, my biggest fear was that I would never, ever find anyone to date, because I thought, who would want to date a single mom with 2 kids? No one, right? Like we see the memes, we see the TikToks. It's like, okay, I guess we're just trash, but whatever. So anyways, then I started dating a guy, and he had this list of like qualities that he wanted in a woman. Well, I guess they weren't qualities. It was more like build a girlfriend type of list. And the top thing on there was he did not want to date a girl with kids. I'm like, oh my God, it's a real thing. We, of course, dated, no issues. And then we ended up breaking up. But after that, I was like, oh my God, I'm really going to be alone. No one out here is going to want to date a single mom with 2 kids. Okay, they do. They do. I've asked, I'm like, I have kids, right? They're like, yeah. They're little, right? Yeah. I'm like, are you scared? No.
There's something many single mothers don't understand. There will always be men willing to go out with them, but not to commit, just to have a good time. And it's easy to see why. They have fewer options, carry insecurities, and that makes them easier to convince for a night. What they confuse is this. It's one thing for a man to want fun, and a completely different thing for him to want to take on her and her kids. Very few men take that step, because no man of value wakes up one day thinking, today, I want to be a stepdad. That's why, even if there are men around, most are only looking for a fling. And the woman who thinks that's real interest will, sooner or later, hit a wall. Because there will always be volunteers to play, but to stay, almost none.
Let me tell you about this session that I just had with this woman recently, all right? Her last man didn't pay any bills. He didn't want to have sex with her. He took her car, took her money. So she prayed and prayed and prayed for a man who was going to be into her, would pay half the bills, wouldn't take her money, would go to work basically and come home. She was in survival mode. She had to handle everything on her own, all right? So then she got this amazing man. He is everything she asked for. He's paying half the bills. He's lifted a lot of the weight off of her so she can focus on herself a little bit, right? She prayed for this guy now. So she can go buy the shoes she wants. She can get her hair done on a regular basis. She gets her nails done. She's dressing cuter. She's feeling real good about herself, right? So what does she do? Y'all can guess it. What does she do? Does she make time to pour into him, to be thankful? No, she does not. Because she has a new following that's giving her that it girl factor. So she takes that new energy and she uses it to tear him down, asking him what his 5-year plan is. She starts feeling like she's better than him. She was a tech head not that long ago, but now she feels like she's that bitch. Now she's imagining she can get with a man who pays all the bills, and that's really what she deserves, and she's going to manifest this man. And now, men, y'all the same, but the difference is that y'all want to screw the imaginary woman, but women actually want to replace the man that they're with and build a life around this imaginary man. She wasn't really even attracted to that man for real. And she turned into that leech that she had initially. She just wanted his resources. But now she's looking for 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 acres, imaginary man. But she's really delusional, and women only present these standards to the men that they are not attracted to. Women's comfortability always overrules physicality. That's why there's so many women out here with babies and marrying men that are 5'10", making $60,000 a year, and if they live in an apartment. And that is not shitting on men in any situation. I'm just saying the stats show up when women are trying to replace a man and when they're not attracted to you. Because she will give you the best ride of your life on a beanbag in your mama's basement next to a broke down dryer if she's attracted to you. So ladies, please stop the bullshit.
That man was used as a beta provider. He's the kind of man that, at her best, she wouldn't have given the time of day, not even in her dreams. But when she was going through a rough patch, she gave him a chance. Once she got back on her feet, fixed herself up, looked pretty, she started seeing him as not enough. Why? Because she never truly liked him. She only wanted his resources. That's why I always tell men, invest in yourselves. When you get a woman, don't be too open or too loose with your wallet. Don't become the father figure who solves all her problems. Remember, the carrot and stick game works. Women love men who keep them on that emotional roller coaster. If one day you notice she starts changing how she treats you, brothers, give her a taste of her own medicine. Because people only learn through reality. If she starts acting too high and mighty, you can bring her back down to earth.
Women.
There's a movement and you're not going to like it. It's single mums. As a single mum who has her children 100% of the time, does not get a break, and is a babysitter to go on a date, I am telling you, guys don't like it. We're a little bit undateable. It doesn't matter how pretty you are and how much you have to offer. Like, we're undateable. But the irony is, we are the best people to have around. Firstly, we can cook, we have snacks, like, we're great fun. But we also aren't stupid. We can do it all ourselves. So I know the rise of the independent woman is sad but true. Why would I date to have guys like be like, oh no, like, oh, you know, and make some excuse? Because they don't always tell you it's because of the kids, you know, but they don't always tell you that's the reason why. Cowards. But like, why would I date around for you to do that to me? Like, as a woman, I don't know if it's just me. Like, if you have kids, cool. Like, I will accept them at some point in the relationship, you know, when you're introduced and things. But it's laughable. Guys older than me will be like, oh no. And I'm like, all right then. So that's kind of half the reason I gave up on dating.
Brothers, the single mother movement is on the same level as the leftover women movement. Many of them call a man cowardly for not agreeing to raise another man's child. But they're not cowardly for leaving the child's father. They're not cowards for getting pregnant by a Chad or for not taking responsibility for their own decisions. In those cases, they're never cowards. When they're the ones who made a mess of their life, they expect a man who had nothing to do with it to step in and take on their problems. As always, responsibility is kryptonite for women. I still prefer being called a coward.
Today I was supposed to hang out with this guy, but it was getting kind of late, so I texted him and I was like, hey, it's kind of late, like maybe we should just like rain check. And he responded saying, okay, sounds good. Excuse me?
And here it comes.
And I was like, what, LOL? And he's like, you proposed to reschedule, like it's a bit late for you, said I was like respecting your boundaries and like, yeah, we can meet up another time.
What's wrong with that?
And I was like, you think you're funny? You're supposed to respond saying, no, I need to see you.
It's never go on a date with a man who thinks that the cost of a date should be on you. And they also think that they are a prize that you need to leave your kids at home for and go out of pocket to see.
Nobody wants a single mom with multiple baby daddies.
Tell it to fucking Jeff Bezos. Why don't you tell it to one of the richest men on the fucking planet? Because Lauren Sanchez got 3 kids, 2 baby daddies, and was a single mother. And one of the richest men on the fucking planet scooped her up, put a big old rock on her hand. 2 baby daddy gang is up right now. 2 baby daddy gang is fucking up right now. And it's crazy because, like, don't some of y'all got stepdaddies? So are you saying that, like,
nobody wanted your mom? Like when you were like, when it was just you and your mom and then your mom got like a partner and that's your like nobody wanted your mom. Like your mom was like damaged goods. Y'all are kind of crazy for saying like that for real. And like, don't some of you, like some of you have step parents and step siblings. So it's like, you guys are talking like real out of pocket. Like that's real crazy. Most of y'all don't even have, first of all, you guys are broke. Most of y'all don't even have daddies. So to be talking about daddies, it's not in your jurisdiction to be talking about.
Stop it. Get some help.
A man can be a millionaire and still be a simp. There's no age limit for that. Just because a millionaire, with money he couldn't spend in 3 lifetimes, chooses to do it doesn't mean all men will. Also, being raised by a stepfather doesn't erase your mother's responsibility for breaking up her marriage. If a man later came along and took charge, fine, everyone plays their hand. It worked out for her. But most women end up raising their kids alone, and many of those children end up in jail or living hard lives because of their mother's decision. Because, according to them, the best thing for the child is to see their mother happy. That's the story they keep telling. A few exceptions don't change the rule. Men don't want to raise someone else's kids. The few who stay do it because they found a valuable woman. Maybe she has only one child, knows how to treat a man, or because that man also has kids. But like I always say, no man wakes up one day thinking, today I want to be a stepdad.
Yo, I just seen this video of a woman who posted on TikTok and said that she just asked for a divorce from her husband because she felt, God, I don't know how to say this without it kind of sounding a little crazy, because she felt like she wanted and expected kind of to feel and have more out of the relationship than she felt she has currently. Mind you, I think she's been married, I think she said 10 years. They have kids together. She said, he's perfect. Does this sound familiar? Because this sounds like a video of mine that blew up not long ago about me talking about the woman who divorced her husband and then regretted it later. Okay, listen. So she said, he's a perfect human being, perfect man, kind, respectful, patient, all this amazing stuff she was saying about him. Amazing father. No complaints there. Is there anything he's got to work out in those areas? Work on in those areas? She said no, absolutely not. He's fantastic. But she feels that, kind of like, she didn't say this. This is kind of what I gathered from it. She's bored. She's bored of the same old thing going on in her life. Mind you, they live a very, very good life, okay? They look like they're well off. They look like they're doing phenomenal in life, all right? So you've got this amazing man as a husband, and you've got kids with him, and he's an amazing father. Yet you just asked for a divorce from him because you're bored. So, yep, guess what? The comments, they got on her ass. They said, look, you have a healthy relationship, and healthy in the long run equals feeling boring, okay? But that's the goal in life. When you feel bored in your relationship, you've got a fucking amazing relationship, because there's nothing that the other person is doing or that you are doing to the other person that causes you to be stressed out, have drama, cheating. She said she didn't say any of this was going on.
Stop it. Get some help.
You can give a woman stability, money, and a healthy family, but you know what you can't give her? Comfort. Because comfort, for a woman, is boring. Even when she has everything she needs to be happy, she always ends up dreaming of adventure, of youthful partying, of escaping the monotony. They get tired of a stable relationship and start looking to get back into dating, traveling, running away from the responsibilities that come with being a wife. Because for many, responsibility is kryptonite. That's why the harsh reality hits later. When everything falls apart, they ask themselves, why is this happening to me?
So I feel like that's the reason why she's feeling the way, right? So she kind of was asking for advice on if other people feel that way, on what she should do, on should she continue her relationship. Well, her husband was like, look, let's try to make changes. Reiterates what a good man he is. let's try to work on things. I'll try to do things differently. See if, it'll spark something in you that'll want to keep you in the relationship. He loves her to death, and she says she loves him to death. Like, like I said, it all comes down to boredom. What the fuck is going on with people? All this social media stuff, and I feel like just so much shit goes on in relationships, and they don't last because, honestly, the simpler the relationship, the fucking better. Like I said in the past video, if you want something intense and interesting, spice it up. You got to do something different at that point. It doesn't seem like he's doing anything wrong. It just seems like you are now like fetching for, okay, look, one of the comments said, you have 80% looking for a 20. Don't leave that 80% going to look for a 20 because you're never going to be satisfied. Like, I believe that 100%. Once you hit a level in your relationship of certain years, it can feel like you're stagnant, like you're bored, like nothing new is going on in your life. And she said like she felt she was trying to still find herself as a human being. Girl, I'm so sorry. Okay, I was about to say some shit, but she would be making a big mistake if she left her husband looking for that 20%. The fun, you want the fun, and then when you get the fun, you're gonna wish you had him after you had the fun. So might as well take his ass and go have the fun with him. Because as soon as you leave that man, he gonna find somebody and they gonna snatch him up real quick. Right? It sounds very familiar. But ladies, I feel like that if you've been in a long-term relationship and you want something new in your life, do something that'll make it feel new. Do something that'll reignite the I feel like it's the romance. You feel me? Like after a certain amount of years, like the romance kind of feels like it dies down a little bit. You have to do shit to make the romance stay alive. And now after that, if shit's not going down and yeah, you can't find the romance and you don't want to be in a boring relationship, then at least you tried, which they are trying. They said they're trying. Now though, after the video, she's posting all these wonderful things about her husband, how she's happy, she's choosing to stay and fight. Ooh. Or sometimes you just need those a million other people in the comments telling you, bitch, get it together. Remember what this is about. You want a boring life for real. Because if you had somebody that was cheating on your ass 24/7 and was just party, not wanting to take you serious or want to settle down or not wanting to help you with your kids or none of that, or wanting to pay the bills or none of that, you would be in a different point in life right now. You'd be praying to God that you had the man you had. Just saying. Ladies, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Have you noticed that many women are addicted to dopamine? It's no coincidence that you see beautiful women tied to men who aren't worth anything. They don't offer stability or a future, but they do give them something they crave like a drug: instability, anxiety, and uncertainty. That unpredictable man becomes their biggest hook, because what's stable, safe, and consistent, for many, eventually turns into boredom. And that's when they walk away from a solid marriage to chase that 20% adrenaline rush. 3 months of fun, and then comes the crash, regret, and a life in free fall. That's why I always say, men need to invest in themselves. Because the modern woman gets bored of everything. Today she wants excitement, tomorrow she wants security, and in the end, she doesn't know what she wants. And if you're not steady on your path, you'll pay the price for her instability.
Women.
See, y'all have been asking me this question for a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and cook for y'all real quick. The question of the day is, why are older men only seeking after younger women nowadays? Why are older men only seeking after and trying to date younger women nowadays? They want a doormat. Short and sweet answer, they want a doormat. And a lot of those older men, they try to hide it and disguise it in a way where, man, these younger women, man, they don't come with all of the baggage. They don't come with the trauma. They don't come with all that drama. They're not set in their ways, and they're easier to mold into a doormat. They want to mold a young woman into a doormat, and it's intimidating. It's hard on them to date a woman that's their age range, because the woman that's their age range is tapped into what I call God-ordained woman's intuition. They can spot it from a mile off. They know the trickery, they know the manipulation tactics, and they will call you out on it. And they don't want to deal with that. So they'll rather deal with a young woman that has not tapped into her divine, feminine, God-ordained woman's intuition. They haven't seen the mind games. They haven't faced the trickery yet. So they're easier to mold. They're easier to manipulate. You didn't see what you just saw, young woman. You didn't see what you just saw. And they put you back into the sunken place. Y'all remember that movie, Men in Black, Will Smith, he used to have that flashlight with the little beamer stick and flash it and make people forget what they just saw and convince them that they didn't see aliens. They didn't just deal with UFO phenomenons and all that. That's what they do with these younger women. And don't be a younger woman and you don't have your dad in your life. You don't have no masculine father figure or anything like that. Oh, man, that makes it even better. That makes it even easier. I can isolate you from your family. I don't have to deal with no masculine energy or none of that stuff. I can isolate you. I can manipulate you. I can financially abuse you and just have you and mold you to be under my wing. And a lot of them don't want to admit that. A lot of these older men, they're on this passport bro energy, but they don't have the passport bro money and resources. They on this passport bro energy, but they don't have the passport bro money, meaning they may be on child support. They may be on papers or something like that. So they can't go overseas. So they'll get with the young woman over here that they can easily mold into a doormat.
At the end of the day, a lot of men simply look for younger, more attractive women, and there's nothing wrong with that. Society makes a big deal when a 40-year-old man dates a 25-year-old woman. But if a 40-year-old woman dates a 25-year-old guy, everyone applauds. Total double standard. The truth is, these women know exactly what they're doing. They're not naive. If they choose to be with an older man, it's because they're looking for experience, stability, and leadership. And that's what stings the most for many, that their career, independence, and achievements don't automatically make them more attractive to a successful 35 or 40-year-old man. They don't want to accept it, but it's simple. High-value men have options, and when that happens, they get to choose.
Because I'm 33, how am I being perceived by men as I'm dating? Okay, so if a guy meets me and doesn't know anything about me, he doesn't know that I am not the girl who likes to jump right into a relationship. I like to take my time. I like to get to know somebody. Is he going to make assumptions about me because of my age? Right? Is my age now going to work against me in a way that I never really thought about when I was younger? And I'm only going to get older, hopefully. As I get older, if I'm still single, is it going to weigh more on dating? I was like, do I need to add something to my profile that's like, I'm, casually looking for something serious. I'm not trying to have a baby tomorrow. Right. And that's a whole other mental load on a single woman who's dating.
Also, I think the silver lining is it opens up another category of men that we just perhaps didn't think about before. Like men who are maybe a few years older than us. Maybe they already have a child. So they are not as freaked out by like the consequences of like having a kid and like they're life changing.
You know why so many men today avoid women over 30? It's not hate. It's just that many of them already have their life set, their routine, their comfort zone, and they're not going to change it for a man. That means any adjustment will be slow and full of conditions. And most of them won't leave their comfort unless there's a commitment involved. Then there's the issue of kids. Some men want to start a family, others don't. And here comes the clash. Many women over 30 want kids, and fast. Others, on the other hand, either can't anymore or prefer to avoid it. That's why they often end up dating single dads, men who've already been through it and are more flexible, whether it's having another child or not having any at all. But here's the reality. If you let time go by and hit the wall without having built what you wanted, it gets much harder afterward. Because, like it or not, the wall doesn't forgive.
If you are an unhappily married woman who secretly contemplates divorce, this video is for you. And if you're not an unhappily married woman who contemplates divorce, I need you to watch it anyways. Maybe this will help you in the future, or maybe you know someone who needs to see this video and who you can share it with. Today would be my wedding anniversary, but instead I have been divorced for 6 years. I am the biggest fan of divorce. Can't advocate enough for it, and so I wanted to share some things with you that might be happening that are signs that it is time to get divorced. I once asked an older former coworker of mine who had been divorced how I would know it was time to get divorced. And she told me that when you're asking people how to know when it's time to get divorced, then it's time to get divorced. And so that's the first one. If you are asking people when to get divorced, it's time. But here are some other signs that it's time as well. Let's start with the one that I hope is the most obvious. If your husband or spouse, partner, whatever, is abusive in any way, shape, or form, there are like 9 different types of abuse: financial, physical, mental, all of that. If they are abusive in any category, it is time to get divorced. Aside from that, if you are Googling divorce laws in your state, it's time to get divorced. If you find yourself wishing that they would just randomly die, time to get divorced. If you are lying to your friends and family about how they treat you so that they aren't hated, time to get divorced. If you question whether you're the problem, then it's time to get divorced. If you find yourself saying he's not always like this or they're not always like this, time to get divorced. If you find yourself pretending to be asleep so that you can avoid them, time to get divorced. If you have any signs of PTSD or anxiety, wondering when they come back, if you're hearing footsteps and you wonder if it's them, if you are, hearing a car drive by and you're wondering if it's them, time to get divorced. If you just know that your life will be exponentially easier and lighter and more enjoyable without them, then it's time to get divorced. And if you're staying because you're afraid of the logistics of getting divorced, if that sounds overwhelming to you, then it's time to get divorced. If you have stopped dreaming and you're saddened by the idea that your life may forever be the way that it is right now and things may never change, then it's time to get divorced. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you're divorced, go ahead and drop some others in the comments to help a girl out. And if you're thinking about getting divorced, just go do it. But before you go do it, go talk to every single lawyer, even the most expensive ones, even the ones you can't afford, just so that your spouse can't use them. So I hope this helped.
Here we see the classic example, a bitter woman whose only advice is get divorced. Of course, misery loves company. And pay attention to the detail. She doesn't just tell you to leave your husband. She also advises you to talk to every lawyer you can, even the most expensive ones, just to block your husband from hiring them. That's not advice, that's manipulation. The irony is that she talks as if marriage isn't supposed to have problems. If your first instinct is to run at the first sign of trouble, you never understood what marriage really means. No long-term relationship is perfect. The difference lies in who weathers the storms and who jumps ship. And the cherry on top, this woman's been divorced for 6 years, and on the exact day that would have been her anniversary, she decides to bring it up in a video. That's not healing, that's emptiness. If you really wanted to leave your marriage behind, why are you still celebrating the ruins? They do this, and then wonder why the regret hits later.
I left the man that I loved for the man that I deserve. I was in a relationship for 10 years and decided to leave that relationship because he was no longer the man of my dreams. He was a good boyfriend and he never cheated on me, and we were good to each other. But when it came to alignment and what I deserved and what I wanted and saw for myself and my future kids, I wanted to give my kids the best possible father I could, as well as the best possible life I could give them. And love is not enough for that. So I left. It took me years of contemplation, but now I am in pursuit of finding the man of my dreams again, and somebody who will give my children and me the best possible life. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you want, it's about what you deserve and what you plan on giving yourself. Because you're young, you're hot, you might as well live your best possible life, especially the one life that you have, the one body that you have, the one time period that you have. Don't waste it away on settling.
Oh, hell no!
In short, she left a good man because he didn't want to cover the expenses of Chad's kids. Honestly, how empty are so many women today to say they only have a body, and that since they still have a firm ass, they should make the most of it and lock down a beta provider to take care of someone else's children. Because she's out there looking for the man she deserves, brothers, the one who'll pay for her mistakes, who'll raise kids that aren't his. You can tell she's searching for the one, jumping from man to man. Along the way, she ended up with kids, but the hunt doesn't stop. A real strong single mom. All I'm saying, brothers, don't be the man she deserves. Because the value of a body doesn't make up for the weight of carrying another man's sins. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about the story of the woman who wants a divorce just because she's bored? What does it say about the woman who's out there looking for the man she deserves? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.